Punishment has changed in this reason.
Thank you, Mugu. I think we can move on. And now we have from Afghanistan, Jawad. Please, go ahead.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here. As you see here, I'm representing two agencies from Afghanistan, Socio-Legal organization and Justice for All organization. The presentation I'm going to deliver is not specifically about disappearance and torture, but overall human rights and women rights situation in Afghanistan. Yeah, as you see, Afghanistan is the fifth poorest country of the world with highest rate of human rights violations, beginning with the Russian invasion and the subsequent civil war. I think the neighboring countries all know about the civil war, 3 decades of civil war in Afghanistan. Human rights watchdogs have documented horrific human rights violations during civil war and Taliban regime, from insulting to sexual abuses to mass killing and ethnic cleansing. Though men and women suffered those violations alike, but female, being vulnerable, were much exposed to violence, and female and young girls were the prime victims of the atrocities. According to Afghan Independent Human Rights Commission and UNAMA officials, violence against women were dramatically increased with the following types. Let's say honor killings in 2012, 60 cases. Rape, 33 cases. Rough statistics show the number of violence against women were 2,725 in 2010, 4,856 in 2011, and 3,331 cases in first 6 months of 2012. It shows that it is really increasing, and how can I say, it is a major concern for human rights organization and as well as civil society organization in Afghanistan. Major concerns are here. Of course, many of colleagues touched about the disappearance and as well as torture. Same as the case in Afghanistan, informal justice. There are many powerful, let's say, warlords still occupying a part of country, a province, a district, and they have their own prisons, they have their own control in the area. So, yeah, informal justice is a major concern. Illegal armed groups is also there, let's say, violating the human rights, women's rights, and child rights. Lack of access to formal justice is still a big problem in Afghanistan. In big cities, we have access. People have access to the formal justice, but in rural areas, it is very difficult. And lack of security in most of the countries, major part of the countries, particularly in east and southern part of the country, we have no security. I'm not. I'd like to go to the informal justice a little bit more, in regards to the disappearance in Afghanistan. Disappearance in Afghanistan happen in the form of abduction mostly. And abduction is conducted by two groups of people in the country. Abduction is conducted by gangs and by those armed groups that they seek money. And basically these abductions has economic reasons. They abduct, let's say, son, daughter, or a man who is rich, and then they ask for ransom or for money. This is a type of that. And sometimes, unfortunately, police department and let's say security departments or security forces are involved in this kind of abductions. And second group who are involved deeply in abduction is Taliban and the anti-government elements. And Taliban abducts any people who is somehow related to the government. Let's say it includes a wide range of government staff, NGOs who are working with the government, and international NGOs, let's say UN, non-UN, and so forth. So this is very complicated. It has created a lot of problem for grassroots people. When you travel from one area to the other area, so Taliban forces will come to the, will take you away and will search you, will search your mobile phone, mobile contact numbers, and as well as they even check your hand. If it is soft, it shows that you are working in office. If it is hard, let's say it indicates that you are a labor, so you are released. So lots of problems. People have, let's say, face problematic situation going from one province to other province, one district to other district. Yeah, in terms of torture, yeah, it is existing, unfortunately, and the framework of the government through India's, let's say, by India's and as well as police. Let's say the security forces are, if they are suspected, if they take a person under the being suspicious that this is, let's say, maybe a Taliban member, then he will be taken to the jail, and then of course torture is always there. And same as the case on the other hand, when Taliban take somebody, they torture him and ask that whether he is working with the government or with the NGOs or with international NGOs. Yeah. But of course, civil society organization, human rights organization can do nothing about the torture, but they are been pointing that, they are highlighting that, and they are notifying that yes, government cannot commit torture because the government of Afghanistan has already committed and signed some of the international conventions, particularly the torture one. Yeah. Besides these problems, Afghanistan has the following achievements. Since these 3 decades of civil war and unrest situation, we could manage to establish the Afghan Independent Human Rights Commission. We call it AIHRC, which is working actually, which is monitoring the government activities. It is always in connection with the government activities, particularly the security section and as well as judicial system. Establishment of Ministry of Women Affairs for the first time in Afghanistan is one of the, how can I say, prominent task of the government and with the support of international community to have it and to deal with the women issue. Participation, of course, yeah, through these 10 years, let's say 10, 11 years, women participation increased in the framework of government, let's say political, social, cultural, and economic areas. We have a large number of women in the parliament and as well as in the provincial councils within 34 provinces of Afghanistan. So they are also in the economic area, but still in many areas, even in parliament, even in the provincial councils, their participation is just nomadic. It is just for the purpose of representation. They do not have real participation in this framework. Yeah, establishment of a special attorney to deal with violation against women. This is a decree from the president. and signing the conventions like CEDAW and Human Rights Declaration and so forth. And lastly, thank you GNU and HRLN for inviting Afghanistan to participate in this very learning, how can I say, beneficial session or event. That's it.
Thank you, Jawad, for being here. We see very little participation from Afghanistan in regional seminars and other occasions. So it's wonderful to have you with us. So Jawad has highlighted some of the peculiar circumstances that Afghanistan is facing. He has especially referred to the non-state actors who are violating the human rights in Afghanistan. And he has also referred to the Afghan Human Rights Commission. I think this is also one thing we need to focus upon. The independent human rights commissions in each and every country is the need of the time. And so far, I don't think any really independent human rights commission has been established in any of the countries in the SAARC region. We now move on, and we have with us a friend from Kashmir who is going to tell us about the peculiar circumstances in Kashmir. Would you like to come over to the podium?